Welcome to another challenge with the Inspiration Collaboration Design Team.
For this month's mystery envelope challenge, I sent out the challenge to the ladies and it says living life in color. You are receiving some DSP from Botanical Textures along with some cardstock from some of our new in colors for 2025 to 27. The challenge is to bring some color to a project using the new in colors. You have also received some frayed gross grain ribbon that has been on last chance and the Riverside irregular pearls that go with everything. These are optional embellishments. Bring this DSP to life with the in colors. So here are the DSP papers, and I will show you the reverse side as well. And these are more of a distress look, whereas this side is more of a botanical. And then we have Cloud Cover and Timid Tiger as some of the cardstock samples that I sent them. But I'm going to show you all of the new in colors. So we have Secret Sea, Cloud Cover, Timid Tiger, Darling Duckling, and Strawberry Slush. So these are the colors that you need to bring into the project. I think I'm going to take the liberty of bringing in an additional color, and that is Old Olive. And I'll let you see that. This is the lighter shade of Old Olive that is in the Stampin' Blends, and then this one is Old Olive. So I think I'm going to bring this color in as well to work with these. And I'm going to add some color to these particular papers. I'm going to play a little bit and see what I can come up with. And then I think I'm going to make a layout from when I took my granddaughters, two of my granddaughters, to a local farm to see some baby chicks, which this is what inspired what I thought would work well for that layout. And they also got to see some sheep and baby lambs as well. So that's what I plan on doing for living life in color.
So the first technique that I'm going to show you for adding color to my Botanical Textures DSP is to simply take my Darling Duckling stamp pad and put it on directly onto my glass mat and use a water brush to kind of water it down a little bit and just watercolor with it. It makes a beautiful background, and you can see that it really adds a lot of color to this particular DSP. The next technique I'm going to show you is I'm going to take my Cloud Cover Stampin' Right, and I'm going to color between all of those leaves. So there are so many ways to add color to all of these different DSPs. This one is one of my favorite. This winter, I took an online class that was offered by Patty Bennett and Tammy Cavillo, I believe is how you pronounce their names. And Patty had taught a class using the mixed media florals DSP. And she had us using Stampin' Blends to color all around the outside between the flowers and then go back and color the different flowers inside. And it just brought the DSP to life. And when I saw this new Botanical Textures DSP, it reminded me of the exact same thing. And I'm like, oh, this is so beautiful. And you can do so many different techniques to bring this to life. And so what you see here is I'm using the Stampin' Rights because I do not have the new in colors in Stampin' Blends yet, but I will be getting them. So I'm starting with the Stampin' Right and Cloud Cover to color between all of the leaves. And you notice that I just went section by section. And then I went in with my Stampin' Blends in Old Olive and I colored the leaves in the 2 different shades of Old Olive. Now let me explain to you how I laid out my page. I had 8.5 by 11 cardstock of the new in colors. So I took white willow as my base, and then I took the Secret C and I cut it right down the middle, 4.25 by 11, and I put it on each side of the scrapbook page. And then I took some of the Secret C cardstock and cut it at 3/4 of an inch by 11 inches, and I made 4 strips, so I had it to go above and below the Secret C on both sides. And then there was Darling Duckling. I had a piece, and it was 7 inches by probably 3 inches or so. It doesn't really matter because you cover up the rest of it after you get past that first 1.75 inches or so. And then I took all of the papers that I had added color to, and I cut them into strips that were 3 by 2, and I made it look like they were very long strips, even though they weren't. And then I dovetailed the bottom of them so that they look like banners going up and down across all of the layout. So then the next thing you see that I'm doing is I'm adding color to one of my other DSPs. This is the distressed looking side of the DSP. And what I did was I took my lightest Old Olive Stampin' Blend and I colored it, and then I added just a little bit of the dark and then went back in with the light and blended it in a little. And that gave me a DSP with some more color that was just all Stampin' Blends. And then here is where I'm going to bring in my last technique. I am going to bring in this DSP, and I have my Darling Duckling Stampin' Right, and I have a water brush, and I'm just picking up a little bit of the color, and this gives a very light yellow tint to my DSP. It is not nearly as dark as the technique where I took my Darling Duckling Stampin' Pad and put it on my glass mat and then added my water brush with it to water it down. This is much lighter, just picking up the tiniest amount of color off of my Stampin' Right with my water brush, and it makes it much lighter. And I'm going to use these different DSPs in some of my embellishment clusters. Now you see I have 2 very old punches from Stampin' Up that are tags, and they kind of nest inside each other if you want them to, but I use those to punch up a bunch of my scraps, and then I came in with some circle punches from Stampin' Up as well. I think maybe 2 3/8 and 1 7/8, I believe, are the 2 sizes, the large and small circles. And I punched up more of my scraps with that as well. And I just want to make like 3 embellishment clusters that I can put around the page. And I have tags and I have circles, and this will work perfectly. I'm using the cloud cover and the Darling Duckling cardstock that I have left over for some of those, and any DSPs that I have left over from what I sent in the mystery envelope package. So punching those all up, and then I'm going to try to find a way that I can put a title on here as well. But I think I need to build some embellishment clusters first. So I don't really have a magic number of things that I put in an embellishment cluster, but I used at least one of the largest circles on each of the clusters, the one that was 2 3/8 of an inch. And then I used some of these smaller circles. I think they were 1 3/4 inch, and I put those around the page. And then I put 1 or 2 of the tags in each of the clusters as well. And you see here, I'm taking some of that gross grain ribbon that I sent, and I thought I might color it, but I thought once I looked at my clusters, I thought the white actually stood out a lot better on my layout. So I used a stapler, just a regular office stapler, and stapled that to the top of each of my tags. I could not decide how I wanted to put it on, and if I put a hole in these tags, I think the tags would have been too small for such a big hole, if that makes sense. So now I am coming in with my Farm Life I'm making a title that says Farm Life, and I'm coming in with my Alphabet a la mode dies, and I'm going to run them through my mini die cutting and embossing machine, and I'm doing both one of the DSPs that I colored. It was the one that I colored with my 2 Old Olive Stampin' Blends, and then I also did it in Darling Duckling, and I just offset them slightly, and I'll let you get a good look. Can you see how those letters are offset? And I did add some flip-flaps to my layout so that you could see the girls with the sheep and the baby lambs that were so cute. And then here they're looking in the incubator for these baby chicks, and each of them are getting a good look inside and even petting the chicks or holding them. And then you can see I put more of my embellishment clusters around, and I added the Riverside irregular pearls to those clusters as well. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing some techniques of how I added color to my DSP. I'm leaving a link so you can check out all the other girls in the challenge. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more crafty inspiration.